Hello, everybody. This is Bernie Stroum, and welcome to my YouTube channel for today's So You Think You Know the Red Sox with Bernie Stroum. Hope everything is going well. We are into 1972 in this short podcast that I do every Sunday morning. And 1972 was an interesting year for the Red Sox. I think that it's important to know that this is the second coming of the Red Sox dominance post 1967. It was a different team for the most part. It was also a team that had its own sense of disappointment through the 1970s, and 1972 was the year that ushered it in. Uh, I'm 22 years old, 21 years old in 1972. On April 7th, which is just about the time the Red Sox opening day in 1972, I turned 21 years old, and in Massachusetts, in those days, 21 was the legal drinking age in Massachusetts. So it was a big deal for me. I was all grown up as a 21-year-old. In 1972, the Red Sox had a interesting season. It started in the preseason, and we're going to go over just one of the items that happened in the preseason that would affect the rest of the upcoming 4 or 5 years the Red Sox played. And in March, during spring training, the Red Sox traded Sparky Lyle to the Yankees for Danny Cater. For all you Red Sox fans, that requires no further explanation. The Red Sox traded George Scott away after the 71 season, and they replaced him with Danny Cater at first base. Significant downgrade at first base for the Red Sox. Lyle pitched well for the Red Sox, and he was a mainstay in the bullpen for the previous few years, but for some reason the Red Sox traded him. Who knows? Doesn't make any sense to me why they did. This culminates, of course, in Danny Cater just being a below-average bench player that almost got into no games after the 71 season. And it culminated with Sparky Lyle winning the Cy Young Award in 1977 for the New York Yankees. This probably goes down as the second worst trade the Red Sox ever made. Anyway, the Red Sox opened the season. There was not a lot of hope in 1972, I remember, because they're now 5 years past their pennant-winning 1967 Cardiac Kid days, and then no longer Cardiac Kids. They got Cater at first base. An aging Rico Petrocelli has moved to third. Speaking of aging, the Red Sox brought in Louis Aparicio, an older version of Louis Aparicio, to play shortstop. Yastrzemski now in his 30s is in the height of his career. They bring in Tommy Harper, which is the first real stolen base threat the Red Sox have had for years. Reggie Smith, a holdover for 67 teams in center field. Right field, no longer patrolled by Tony Canigliaro, was patrolled for the most part by Ben Ogilvy. And in Boston, a famous name, John Kennedy, not the politician, but the baseball player, played a significant role at second base and shortstop, and he was not a very spectacular player. This wasn't a very spectacular team. Pitching-wise, it was okay. Marty Patton, Sonny Siebert, John Curtis, Lynn McLaughlin, Ray Culp, and Bill Lee emerged in the bullpen. The one guy they had as a spare part beginning in 72 who didn't pitch very frequently, and he did come out of the bullpen from time to time, was Louis Tiant. And he got a chance to start about mid-season, and he went 15 and 6 with an under 2 ERA and became star on the Red Sox team for the next several years, culminating, of course, in the 75 World Series. Okay, so they traded Sparky Lyle in March, and we're looking forward to opening day against the Detroit Tigers, and lo and behold, it's canceled because of a strike. It's either a strike or a lockout. I'm not sure which one it was. But anyway, the first 7 games of the season have been lost because they don't play now. The strike was settled, and they play on the 15th of April, so they lose a week's worth of games, and that's going to play a significant role in the Red Sox 1972 season, unbeknownst to everybody in April. They open the season up in Detroit, lose 3-2, and I'm going to read you what it says about this out of one of my books because it's interesting, and you're going to tie it into the end of the season. With the strike settled, the Red Sox open the season in Detroit and lose 3-2 to the Tigers. The Sox lost a run when Louis Aparicio tripped over third base on a hit by Yastrzemski, a base running mishap that would prove to be prophetic. Marty Patton was the losing pitcher for the Red Sox in his debut. And at the start of the season, only Yastrzemski, Smith, Petrocelli remained from the 67 club. So this is a whole new era, as I mentioned. Red Sox go on, and this is a pretty insignificant season. There are not a lot of ups and downs in this season. They play steady baseball. Excuse me 1 second. I have to check something out here. Okay. They play pretty steady baseball. As a matter of fact, I want to look this up, if you'll bear with me for a second. They play pretty steady baseball. As a matter of fact, they win 85 games. They lose 70. Not spectacular, but not bad. The Red Sox now are playing in the American League, which has divisions. So in 67, they finish first, and they go to the World Series. Here they finish first. They have to go to a playoff game. So that's a difference in 72. As I sip my coffee here on Sunday morning, they spent 21 days in first place. Not a lot of time, but they never fell further than 8 games back of first place. So they were always in it. They didn't have a big lead when they were in first. The biggest lead they ever had was a game and a half, and that's towards the end of the season as they went into their final series. They had a winning streak of 7 games, which is the longest, and the longest losing streak they had 5. So it was a pretty steady season. There's not anything spectacular. Let me glance through this timeline here, see if I have some notes or anything. I didn't spend a lot of time at Fenway Park. Attendance, they got just under 1.5 million. Again, they were second in the American League. The Bruins win the Stanley Cup in May. That was a highlight, but not a Red Sox highlight. Let's see, what else? Anything that might pop up? I'm in June, and so far I did not see very much. Eddie Casco, who looked like an old man to me back in 72, celebrates his 41st birthday in 27. He was just a kid. On July 9th, Nolan Ryan struck out 16 Red Sox batters through a one-hitter, one of his many one-hitters. It was against the Red Sox. On July 11th, Marty Patton went 8 1/3 no-hit innings before coughing up his no-hitter in the 9th inning. I'm still looking, and there isn't a lot. Louis Tiant throws a no-hitter for 6 innings on August 12th and settles for a 3-hit, 5-3 win over the Orioles. As Louis Tiant finishes the season with 11 wins, 2 losses, 15-6 record, and a 191 ERA. He had 6 shutouts, and 4 of them were consecutive, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. Nothing else stands out as far as I can see. Until what I remember personally is the last weekend of the season where the Red Sox go into Tiger Stadium, 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers. And this is what I remember most because I was planted in front of the TV expecting the Red Sox to go to the playoffs for the first time since 1967. On October 1st, and I'm going to rely a lot on what I'm reading from this from the Red Sox Journal because I'm going to refresh my memory. I remember the game. There was only one significant event I remember. When we get to it, I'll tell you. But it was like the rest of the season. They were competitive but forgettable, I guess is the best way to put it. The best part of 72 was it was the genesis, the beginning of that team that culminated in a World Series appearance in 1975. On October 1st, the Red Sox lose 2-1 to the Orioles, which chops Boston's lead over Detroit in the AL East to a half a game. They go into Detroit with a 3-game series. The team that wins 2 of the 3 games wins the pennant, and wins the division, and goes to the playoffs. And I fully expected the Red Sox to win. But on October 2nd, the Tigers defeat the Red Sox 4-1 in the first game of a showdown in a series in Detroit. Mickey Lotus struck out 15 batters, a base running mishap. And I want to remind you what we started the show with and talked about. Aparicio tripping over third base, costing him opening day. A base running mishap proved costly, and this is what I remember the most. With the score 1-0 Tigers, the Red Sox half of the third, Tommy Harper was on third and Aparicio was on first. Yastrzemski hit a drive off the top of the center field wall. Harper scored, and Aparicio headed towards third base, stumbled. As he neared third, he regained his balance, slipped on the bag, and awkwardly fell in the foul territory. Aparicio scrambled back to third base, but Yastrzemski was already standing there. And, of course, confusion reigned. Yaz tries to go back to second base. He's out. And the Red Sox failed to tie the game, failed to go ahead. Reggie Smith struck out to end the inning, and the Tigers win the game 4-1, and the Red Sox blew it in the third inning. That was the beginning, in my opinion, of the tragic endings that I've spent most of my gaming career trying to turn around. I haven't been able to win 72 in any replays, but that's the play I've always felt that cost them the game. The Red Sox dropped in the second place. They're a half game behind Detroit, but on October 3rd, they could have taken a lead, but they didn't. The Tigers clinched the pennant, defeating the Red Sox 3-1. The Tigers broke a 1-1 tie with 2 outs in the 7th inning off Tiant. And it was on a single by their superstar, Al Kaline. Of course, the Red Sox do what they always do. They win October 4th to make it look closer than it really was. And there you go. The Red Sox lose the pennant on the final weekend of the season. It's the first time they lost the pennant in the final weekend of the season since 1949, when they had the same situation where the Yankees went into Yankee Stadium and only had to win one more game. They lost. And how many years later? 23 years later, the same thing happens in Detroit. Anyway, the only other significant thing I remember about 1972 was that in the winter of 72, Major League Baseball decides to start a new experiment in 1973. It is the designated hitter as the Red Sox enter year 2 of their second coming, so to speak, in 1973. And next Sunday, we will go over 1973 when the Red Sox, second year, they were a very good team in the early 70s, almost win the division in 72. And, of course, they lose by half a game, and that's because the schedule was uneven. If it was an even schedule, you never knew when they might have tied and went on to win. Who knows? I've been trying to replay that in my simulations all along. Anyway, there's the end of this Sunday's 15 minutes. I appreciate you stopping by and listening, for those people that did. And we will be back next Sunday. We'll be talking about the 1973 Boston Red Sox. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. You can join me. Oh, before I finish, at noon today, let me put this on the screen. We have episode 31, 1970 versus 1958, Game 7 in my Boston Red Sox historical tournament. This has been the most exciting series since I've started this in the beginning of April. 1970 was leading 3-1. The 58, a squad that wasn't quite as good, won games 5 and 6, forcing Game 7. And we will be playing that here in about 45 minutes. So that's it. Hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday. If I don't see you at that game, I will catch you later on either YouTube or Discord. Have a good Sunday.